Welcome to the show about a game within a race. And there's a chicken. This is the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show, presented by Hercules Tires and Grunt Style Apparel. Confused yet? If not, these guys will help. Here are your fantasy racing pros, Greg Stump, Ryan Flores, and Tyler Burnett.
Well, Tyler Burnett is out on assignment this week. I'm Rich Culbreth. I'll be filling in for him this week. And when I say out on assignment, I mean he is
assignment.
He is on assignment. He is somewhere in like the Gulf of Mexico, probably with an umbrella in his drink or something like that.
There's a lot of raisin cover down there, so I'm sure he's there strictly for work. I'm sure.
He doesn't drink anything that quality. I'll promise you.
Probably not.
The rough life of a fantasy pro.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. We're going to talk about Daytona this past weekend, and we'll be previewing Kentucky this week. And, of course, later on in the show, we're still going to have Under the Rock. Apparently, I'm going to be the guy that's going to have to dodge the rock this week, and also Ringo Fowler. Talking about Daytona this past week, guys, I had my setup, but I don't think anybody could predicted who it was in the top 10 this week. This is crazy.
I think you can always predict the big one going down there. That's the one thing that it is a constant, but I don't think you can predict that there's going to be 3 or 4 big ones that you're going to make it through. So, I think everyone's schedule, was kind of shook up. I know we saved a lot of drivers. We kind of used people we hadn't used for the beginning of the year. So I think it was probably okay, but I wouldn't have thought we'd have a first-time winner down there for sure.
Eric Jones, I had him on my team, but I'd like to say it was because I knew what I was talking about, but it was just a guess. That was all that was. But as far as the rest of my team, I had Ryan Blaney on my team. I had who else? But Brad Keselowski. I mean, who's always a proven road race or a proven restrictor plate racer, and I stunk.
What about the 17? Did you have the 17?
I had the 17, and that looked like that was going to be a great pick until there at the very end.
It wasn't bad.
But who would have thought? Look at this. A.J. Allmendinger, Casey K. Well, A.J. wasn't a big surprise. He normally does well on the road courses and on the restrictor plate racing, so he got a top 3.
The thing that shocked me about Allmendinger is that coming down the backstretch, he was hooked up with his teammate, and he probably could have pushed Chris to the win, and he just bailed on him.
I don't think I've yelled at my TV more
what is
than
he
last
doing?
weekend. I was like, you guys are set up perfectly. The 2 teammates on the outside, and he just left him. So I don't know A.J. that well, but... come on, man.
Stick with your teammate,
you got your
bro.
teammate right there, and you could have
Help
finished
the kid
1-2
out.
at least. Yeah.
Golly.
Some of the other guys that you mentioned, Chris Buescher got a top 5. Look at Ty Dillon up there. Matt DiBenedetto finished in 7th place.
That was cool seeing Matt up there. With the crew chief change he has this year in Randy Cox, he's got a couple good runs. You're really good at Sonoma, and it seems like that team is kind of for being a back of the pack kind of team, they're really getting some traction and starting getting some wins. So hopefully that top 10 or whatever, it will kind of motivate them and keep kind of pushing towards Kentucky.
I'm looking at Jeffrey Earnhardt, who finished 11th. You got Brendan Gaughan, who was just a part-time driver, got up there and finished 12th. DJ Kennington, who would have thought? Who would have thought? Who would have not picked any of the guys that crashed in that race?
He led some laps, right?
I don't know. I was on the plane flying home.
Yeah,
I'll tell you, Michael McDowell. Michael McDowell was a great run if you would have had him on your team.
He was strong before everybody wrecked.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you always expect the big one in Daytona, but you don't expect him to be that early and that often.
From the people I know in the garage and stuff, they said Michael's car was, it was one of the top ones to pick. I mean, it was not like a fluke deal or anything else. It was a fast car all weekend.
Yeah. So great runs for a lot of different guys, the guys that you don't normally see at the front of the field at Daytona this past weekend. Coming up, we'll have some side swipe. We'll talk about some of the picks as we head to the Bluegrass State this weekend. And also a little bit later on, we'll have Ringo's pick. So we got a lot going on here on the Inside Line. I'm Rich Culbreth along with Skip and also Greg. We'll be right back.
When your battery goes dead, everything can come to a stop. Don't take a chance on getting stranded. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and get your battery tested free of charge. If your battery does need to be replaced, O'Reilly Auto Parts can help you find the exact Superstart battery that fits your car or truck at a guaranteed low price. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Grunt Style. The American fighting spirit is in everything we make. We are 500 patriots and veterans strong, bringing clothing manufacturing back to the United States of America. always moving forward, never retreating, never giving up. We are Grunt Style, and this we'll defend. Get yours at gruntstyle.com.
At Victory Junction, it's simple. We believe every child, no matter their diagnosis or disability, deserves the chance to just be a kid. So we provide a medically safe environment where children who live in a world of hospital stays and doctor's visits are free to do everything from riding horses, ziplining, swimming, fishing, and bowling, all at no cost to the camper. The experience inspires confidence, builds self-esteem, and changes the life of every child who comes here. Help us change a child's life at victoryjunction.org.
Yay or nay? Go or stay? It's time for the inside line to sideswipe the competition.
Welcome back to the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show. I'm Rich Culbreth in for Tyler Burnett this week. It's time for some side swiping. We're going to talk about who to go with and maybe who not to go with for Kentucky, the Quaker State 400 this weekend at the Kentucky Speedway. So let's go ahead and get started. What's our first one there, Daryl?
We're going to start out this week with Kevin Harvick.
Oh, man.
Just swipe right.
Just swipe right next.
Yeah.
No, we talk about the big three, and obviously those big three are Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, and also Martin Truex Jr. If you look at Kevin Harvick's stats for Kentucky, they're really not that great. But if you look at what he's done on the mile and a halves this year, I mean, you're crazy.
Pretty good.
You not to go with Kevin Harvick if you've got any picks left. Of course, on the Fantasy Live, you get 10 picks for each driver, and I've been hanging on to Kevin Harvick for a couple of different races, and this is one of them. So yeah, Kevin Harvick.
Any mile and a half track, you can pretty much hands down pick Kevin Harvick. It was actually kind of nice not to talk about him for a week, at Daytona, so we can kind of leave him out. But going back to a mile and a half this week, I think for sure Kevin Harvick.
His stats are not great for Kevin Harvick. For everybody else, they're pretty good. I mean, 5 top 10s in 7 races, and golly, he's so strong. So if you have enough room to take him, you have enough races left.
Well, there's no other mile and a half tracks left. I mean, Darlington's like a little over a mile, but as far as the mile and a half cookie cutter tracks, which is what's Kevin Harvick's bread and butter this year, this is it.
Pre-chase.
So, yes, pre-chase. Now, this is before the chase starts. So, but yes, you need to have Kevin Harvick on your team. So yeah, swipe right on that one.
Send it.
Yep. Next.
All right, this one's a little tougher. Jamie McMurray.
Oh, man.
I had Jimmy McMurray on my team this past week. I thought he would do well at Daytona, and obviously he didn't. So ended up finishing 30th in that race. So, but Jamie McMurray, I'm going to swipe left on that. Jimmy McMurray is just hot and cold. His teammate Kyle Larson's doing well on a lot of tracks, but Jamie Mack, they're just still trying to find speed in that one car.
Yeah, you would think. Sorry, sir.
No, go ahead.
You would think being teammates with Kyle Larson, something would click, but honestly, it's like he's driving a Hendrick car at Ganassi right now. They just cannot figure it out.
Yeah.
He's had a couple of 7th place finishes the last couple of years at Kentucky Speedway. So, I mean, his history there the last couple of years, they're okay, but I think you got better options with someone else other than Jamie Mack.
Yeah, they've found something that works with Kyle and balance that he's been able to drive, but with Jamie, they're not there yet, and I would hold off on him.
All right, swipe left on Jamie Mack. Who's next, Daryl?
His helmets are probably too heavy, I would say.
Paint his helmet, yeah. Don't pick him.
Let's go with Martin Truex Jr.
Oh, that's one of the top 3. Go ahead, Greg. What do you think?
I'm going to go ahead and swipe right on this because he absolutely dominated the field last year. Even with an overtime, they bunched the field back up to give everybody else another chance, and he just flat drove away from them. So I think he's going to do the same thing this year.
But I tell you what, I wouldn't put him down as a sure winner quite yet because, I mean, he's finished in the top 5 a lot on the mile and a halves, but he hasn't gotten a win on a mile and a half. He won it at California, which is a 2-mile track, and he also won at Sonoma, but he's gotten some solid finishes, but they don't have the domination on the mile and a halves like they did last year. Still, I mean, I agree fully, he needs to be on your team this week if you've got any more picks for him, but yeah, as far as Martin Truex Jr., not quite sure about picking him as your winner, but I think he's going to have a strong run.
Swipe right?
Jersey strong.
All right, yeah, Jersey.
All right, who's next, Daryl?
All right, let's finish it up with Matt Kenseth.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So there's been 7 races here. 5 of them have been won by Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski. Martin Truex and Matt Kenseth, the only other 2 people that have won a cup race here since they've been running here. He is not in the 20 car. It's very apparent. swipe left.
Yeah.
Just swipe
Don't
left.
even. There's nothing even.
Don't look
about
up
it.
last year's stats for sure. He did run very well last year. I think he's second row in that restart, and this year they just don't have the package together over there.
If you're looking at stats and you're saying, oh, wow, Matt Kenseth has a 6.9 average finish at Kentucky Speedway, and wow, he's only finished outside of the top 10 but once in his career. And this will be our 8th race at Kentucky. It's not like we have a whole bunch there.
Yeah.
But don't let that fool you. They're still trying to find speed in that number 6 car, and they just don't have it yet.
Those stats are about to change this weekend for sure.
I will say, though, it's not out of the question for Matt to get a top 15, top 20, top 15.
Yeah, I think if he qualifies, poorly, which that team has an okay chance of doing that, and you look at that, and he can run decent. He knows the track, so he's going to get every bit out of that car. Better than what most drivers would be in that situation.
All right. Well, that covers it on Sideswipe and some guys to watch and maybe not go with this weekend at Kentucky Speedway. Coming up, we'll talk about some other guys that you may want to start or maybe not start as we go to Kentucky for the Quaker State 400 this weekend. And also a little bit later on, as the guys mentioned a while ago, we'll have Under the Rock. Even though Tyler's not here, we're still going to play Under the Rock. And we got Rango the Chicken.
That's a ton of pressure for you this week.
It is because I'll never hear the end of it if I get it wrong. That's all coming up right here on the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there. Whether you're running on dirt or running a job, our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice: Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
MRN.com. Original online audio, video, and digital content. Need the latest information on each week's races? Check out the MRN.com Race Center. Need to find your local radio station for MRN original programs and Camping World Truck, Xfinity, and Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series races? Go to Stations on MRN.com. All the latest NASCAR news and opinion pieces, race schedules, driver standings, and archives of MRN programs, MRN race broadcasts, and so much more. MRN.com.
Hi, this is Mike Bagley. Join me and the rest of the MRN crew every Tuesday night for NASCAR Live. We'll put a bow on the weekend's action and get you ready for the upcoming race with the biggest names in the sport.
As you look at that particular race, that's been one of our best races over the years, and I think every driver in the garage is looking forward to racing this particular package.
Hear exclusive interviews, expert analysis, as well as stuff you won't hear anywhere else.
Oh yeah, good job, guys. Good job.
It's NASCAR Live this Tuesday night at 7 Eastern on the Motor Racing Network.
Let's talk more fantasy racing on the Inside Line.
Welcome back to the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show. I'm Rich Culbreth in for Tyler Burnett this week, and a happy Friday the 13th. I guess is the best way to put it.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I know.
You should wear your
right?
mask today.
Yeah.
We talked about that. They said they should put me in a hockey mask for the show, but I'm like, I don't know how well that would sound.
You can't cover up his face. Come on.
At midnight, Greg actually
It might sound like this right here.
Greg turns back into a vampire at midnight, so
Yeah.
steer clear of him tonight.
Rough. It's a rough day for me.
Hopefully it's not bad luck for you on your fantasy team this weekend. Don't forget, next week, we're going to just completely blow up this show, and we're going to do a complete overhaul of the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show. Tyler will be back next week, but there's going to be all kinds of different things. And I don't know, have you guys been informed on some of the changes?
Yeah, slowly but surely we've kind of made our changes and put in our comments, I guess, whether they listen to that or not. We'll see. But I think it's going to be cool. It's a full point system, right? And you'll probably lose. I'll probably win. Tyler will probably be at the bottom. So.
Yeah.
Well, so make sure you pick well because it starts this week with our picks for the win.
Right.
It rolls on over. So make sure you pick well for Tyler. I'm sure he'll appreciate it.
Yes. Well, that's the intent. I hope to do that. Let's talk about some Kentucky picks. This past weekend, of course, we saw Eric Jones pick up his first win, his first Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series win. And what do you think about him going to Kentucky this weekend?
When he was in the 77, he did run fairly decent there. So I think with that team and having the momentum of a win, I think he'll run good. Yeah,
I mean, it's hard to ever bet against a Gibbs Toyota, but I think before I put him in my lineup, I'd probably have Daniel Suarez in or the 11 car. Those are maybe two more solid picks right now. Daniel seems to weasel his way in at the end of the race and get a good finish, but he's not a bad pick. He's definitely a good garage pick for sure.
I agree, a good garage pick, but I was looking at his numbers for the mile-and-a-half tracks this year, and I didn't realize that he had finished 6th at Chicagoland, a mile-and-a-half track, 7th at Kansas, 4th at Texas, 8th at Las Vegas, and he finished 11th at Atlanta. These were all mile-and-a-half tracks that are comparable to where we're going to be going this weekend. So, I mean, those are solid numbers. That program on the mile-and-a-half, they're pretty dang good. So I would say Eric Jones, if not on your team, definitely have him as your garage driver.
I think they're good cars. I just think with the cookie-cutter tracks at the mile-and-a-half, so what can we say, it's just so hard to outrun that Ford motor package, wouldn't you agree?
Well, I mean, the 18's figured out a way to do it, right? And the 78, those guys at Motor Tracks have done well. And it's been the same at a mile-and-a-half all year. It's the 4, the 78, and the 18, and then the 42 and the 12 can kind of hang on for a little bit of the race, and then the 3 Penske cars are anywhere from 5th to 7th. And then insert a random Stewart-Haas car in the top 5, and that's been your races.
Right.
So,
but we're seeing guys that are like creeping in with those top 3. And one of them, and I was going to mention, is Clint Boyer, is someone else to watch. I mean, look what he did at Chicagoland, where he went 4 laps down, and then he makes himself back on the lead lap, and he's like, I mean, I think he could have won that race.
That's magical. That's pretty impressive to do. I think anytime anyone else could trap 4 laps down, your day's over. Might as well park it.
Yeah. And since we're on the topic of Stewart-Haas racing, Eric Almirola is someone else that I was thinking about. Now, here's someone that did well at Kansas, but Eric Almirola, they don't seem to be able to finish the way that they've been running throughout the race.
They had the 2 best cars at Kansas, or where did we race last?
Chicago this past time.
At Chicago, they had the 2 best cars there. It was the 14 and the 10. 10 had a loose wheeler too, and that that's a tough part about a team like the 10 car that's not really used to running. Coming in leading, you get a little bit more anxious. There's a little bit more pressure, and you rush your on pattern, and then all of a sudden you have loose wheels. It's happened to me. It's happened to the best of everybody, and that's just part of guys that aren't consistently pitting in those high pressure situations. Not saying that they can't do it, but it seems as though they had some trouble that race and maybe gave that one away. Where as a team, all working together for the first time this year, the 10 cars got some stuff to figure out, but the most important thing they have is speed right now.
Yeah, Stewart-Haas is definitely on it. Another guy I was looking at is Denny Hamlin. What do you think about Denny Hamlin for Kentucky?
I think Denny can step up and win any track he goes to. Obviously, he's a good driver, but I feel like this year he's just missing it a little bit. He's kind of there, but you haven't really seen much out of him. So
that's true. I mean, but he's quietly finishing pretty well in the mile-and-a-half tracks. I mean, 7th at Chicagoland for Denny Hamlin, 3rd at Charlotte. He finished 4th at Atlanta, and Kansas he finished 5th.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that mile-and-a-half program for that team, not too bad.
I think he's kind of like a Ryan Newman was a couple years ago.
Exactly.
He just kind of quietly finishes there, and then somehow he's in the Final 4 at the end, and you go, how did this guy make it there? So I think Denny will get there, but he's just quietly doing it, I guess.
Yeah, he's just quietly just sticking around. So, I mean, Denny Hamlin, I think, is someone else that should be on your team, if not, as one of your garage drivers, because, obviously anything can happen there. But Denny Hamlin is someone else. Ryan Blaney. Here's a guy, I don't have many picks left for Ryan because I keep thinking this is going to be the week.
Yeah.
This is going to be the week for Ryan Blaney. I mean, and he runs, I know, right? Skip obviously works on that team. But Ryan Blaney, 2 starts, he finished 35th the first time we went to Kentucky, and 10th. He had a top 10 run this past time that we were there. So Ryan Blaney, I guess you would be the first guy to talk to on that. What do you think?
Yeah, so I mean, we've seen the hit a slump, and it happened to us last year as well in the summer, and it seems like it's been a couple weeks since we finished a race or had a race with no drama. I know this race, the first year we ran it in 2016, we were very fast, and us and Chase Elliott wrecked. We actually welded the rear clip back on the car and went out and finished. But we were very fast up front. I don't remember what happened last year that put us back to 10th, but our mile-and-a-half program has had speed. We've been fast. We've been maybe the best Penske car. You look back at Chicago, we were hanging in there top 7, had a loose wheel on one of the last sequences and put us a lap down, and the best we could finish was 16th. That's a total team fail. And then this past week, we get wrecked, and Sonoma we lose power steering, and it's just been a couple weeks where we've had solid top 10 cars and not been able to get to finish due to different issues every week. So that monkey's got to get shook off our back. Hopefully this week we can do it. He's a good guy to have. He's a great qualifier. He's got a lot of speed on Fridays and a lot of stage points. But we just got to figure out how to finish.
All right, well, there's some of our picks for Kentucky this weekend for the Quaker State 400. I'd like to take a quick second to thank our folks over at the Ridge Wallet for being a part of our show, the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show. These things are really neat. For many, many years, I have always carried my wallet in my front pocket, but it's always been one of those that is real thick and stuff. But these Ridge Wallets are really neat. They're small, they're compact, and they fit in your pocket just so easily. And they're like two titanium metal plates that are separated with like a durable elastic band, and it's really neat how the money fits in there, and you get your credit cards and any kind of business cards or whatnot that you can fit in there. You can get 10% off today with free shipping worldwide by going to ridgewallet.com. That's ridgewallet.com, and use the promo code RACING. And so you need to get you one of those new Ridge Wallets. Hey, it looks like a great gift. I mean, I know we're a long way from Christmas time, but maybe a birthday coming up.
Here's your comparison.
I feel like Tyler should get us all Ridge Wallets for taking this week off on vacation. He should come back with just a whole pile of Ridge Wallets.
You know he's a tightwad.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not coming off any money, but those are really neat. So definitely support one of our great sponsors right here on the Inside Line, and that is Ridge Wallets. Coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to do Under the Rock. That's it.
This is it.
I'm nervous about this.
Yeah.
I'm going to get to play Under the Rock. That's coming up here next, right here on the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show.
Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, pick up a bottle of Seafoam Fuel Additive on sale for $6.99. Plus, earn double O Rewards points. Adding Seafoam to your oil or gas will help smooth out a rough idle, restore lost power, and improve fuel economy. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Here's a special message for those of you who owe the IRS at least $10,000 or more in back taxes. The IRS has special programs in place that could eliminate or reduce your tax debt by thousands of dollars. Call the Federal Tax Management Helpline that has been set up for you, 800-242-1706. Stop the wage garnishments, levies, and tax liens now. Once you've qualified and enrolled, the IRS will stop all the collection activities against you. These unique programs have been allocated to help the economy and significantly reduce or eliminate your tax burden. The IRS is currently accepting reduced settlements and other favorable programs. You may qualify for substantial savings, so get the help you need. If you owe more than $10,000 in taxes, call for free information and to see if you qualify. Take down the number now for the Federal Tax Management Hotline, 800-242-1706. That's 800-242-1706. 800-242-1706.
Do you live your life up under a rock? Or are you Tyler Burnett?
All right, welcome back to the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show. It's time for one of our favorite games right here on the show. It's Under the Rock, and Friday the 13th. Happy Friday the 13th to you. So hopefully I'll have a little bit of luck here. I mean, I know it's supposed to be an unlucky day, but hopefully I'll have a little bit of luck here and get this thing right. So.
This is it.
This is it.
This is what the week is boiled down to.
All right. Well, I will
would-
tell you this. I will say that I absolutely know 100% that Tyler would not get this one.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
all right.
that's
he takes a
given.
loss already.
Okay. Well,
But this is someone from Kentucky. At least he was born in Kentucky.
Colonel Sanders.
He lives in he lives in Hollywood, California now. We're going to put the picture up. And Rich, because you're the first time doing this, I'm going to give you a fighting chance. If at first you don't know who it is, I will allow you one clue.
All right.
All right?
All right.
So
cue
here
it
we
up.
go, Donald, if you'll put it up.
That is Flynn, Larry Flint.
Al Pacino.
Al Pacino. That's Larry Flint. There it is. Look at that. Yes.
I thought you would know that one.
That is the, well, I'm not going to say what he does.
Yeah, he's the publisher of Hustler.
Yeah,
That's what he
right. That's right. Well, I was going to say another one. No.
Oh, man.
All right, there you go. There you go.
100% you're correct.
Did y'all know who that was?
No,
I did
a
not
clue.
know it. So that definitely means Tyler definitely did not know it. So
All right, it's time for Rango. Cue up Rango. All right, right, let's see what the chicken's got to say. You know, the chicken, I happened to see how Ringo did this past week at Daytona, and even
it's a flying chicken.
Yeah, there we go. Even this past.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to bring Ringo back. Even Ringo did not do so well this past time at Daytona.
Who did he pick to win it?
Who did Ringo have to win? I
thought he had a Penske car. Keselowski, maybe?
Maybe Keselowski. Maybe that's who it is. All right, well, this week going to Kentucky, the chicken has selected Kyle Busch, obviously, Truex, obviously, Brad Keselowski, and Clint Boyer, Kevin Harvick. It's got Eric Jones as the garage driver. Ringo has been listening to the show. Got Kyle Busch on the pole. Kyle Busch winning the first stage. Martin Truex Jr. the second stage, and Kyle Busch as the winner, Toyota being the manufacturer.
I feel like he does probably make his picks right on commercial break after he's listened to everything we've said. So.
Yeah, well, that's probably the case.
Not bad picks at all, for sure. I think the 18 will be tough there, for sure.
Let me ask you this. They paved this track a couple of years ago, and they had to repave it again, and this track is still somewhat of a one-groove track. So I guess what I'm getting at is maybe someone who starts within that first top 3 could possibly be your first stage winner. I mean, would that be a fair assumption?
Yeah, I think so, especially if there's no pit strategy or anything else in there. I think that's easy doable.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, think about that. If you got maybe a Kevin Harvick or Kyle Busch or even Martin Truex Jr. starting within that top 3, maybe top 4, because passing is going to be more difficult there than what we've seen in the past, it might be very wise to pick one of those guys as your first stage winner. Now, after that one, then obviously, pit strategy can kind of jumble things up, so you just don't know who's going to do after that. But I think it's going to be one of your top 3 to win on this mile and a half track. So it's either going to be Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, or Martin Truex Jr. So let's go through it. Who do you think, Greg?
He's doing arts and crafts over here, so put your money where your mouth is. Let's see who.
Guy who's got 3 wins here. Most wins out of any active driver. Out of any driver that's ever run Cup races here, really.
So you're just going with someone outside of the top 3.
Brad Keselowski. Yeah, I mean, the Penske cars are working hard to find speed. You know, there's no doubt that that the Stewart-Haas cars have been the dominant Ford manufactured car this year. So they're working hard. This is Brad's best track, and probably has one of the best pit crews on pit road.
True story.
Greg, what do you think?
I'm gonna go with the 78 as a good pick because he dominated there last year. I think even with a few changes, he'll still run good. If he doesn't, though, I think you guys are going to victory land in the 12 car because I feel like out of those cookie cutter tracks, when it's a little bit complicated, or you have to be right on the money. A young guy like Ryan Blaney can get it done.
Thanks for
hold on now.
Yeah.
This is producer Daryl.
Okay.
I want to explain to the people watching that starting next week, we have this new format of the show. And this part is very important to that because to begin the show next week, based on how you picked your driver this week, is how you're going to start out because you're going to earn points throughout the show. And then at the end of the show, we will declare a winner. So you start out with points based on who you picked. We've got the 78 with Greg, the number 2 with Ryan.
Yeah.
So
Tyler's not here.
All right, so Tyler's not here, so I'm picking for Tyler,
I guess
correct?
You're going to have to pick for him.
Well, if I'm picking for Tyler, I'm going to go with Jesse Little. I'm going to go with Jesse Little. He drives the number 7 car, and Justified won the Kentucky Derby in the 7 horse.
Yeah.
So why not? So since I'm picking for Tyler, I'm going to do him a favor and go with the sure winner, Jesse Little.
Fun fact.
Chicken bucket, go boom.
Jesse Little, that's Mullet Motorsports right now.
Yeah.
And watch him go out there and somehow there's a rain delay or something or other, and he ends up.
Dude, I would quit this job. You'd be finding 2 new co-hosts, so for sure.
I'd be happy to see Jesse. Great kid.
Yeah, Jesse is a good kid. He's a good driver. So
hopefully he has a good day.
All right. Well, good luck with your fantasy team this weekend. Next week on Friday, well, of course, we'll overhaul the show, and we'll be talking about New Hampshire, the Foxwoods Resorts Casino 301. Until then, have yourself a great weekend, and good luck with your fantasy team.